Gundam.tk presents Master Grade Gundam version 2.0 Titanium Finish. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert184, 2 R's 2 B's from GundamReviews.net. And yes, this is the H1 spinning around there, but how much does he owe to the original granddaddy himself, the RX-78-2 Gundam? Talking here about the Master Grade 2.0, and because this was part of Gunpla's 30th anniversary, this one is all sorts of Kira shiny, thanks to its titanium finish. 2010 release for this kit, which means that it's getting harder and harder to find. And whereas the original sells for 4,200 yen, it's 8,000 for the extra sparkle. And you can see that even the box is going to sparkle here. There it is, the titanium finish, part of the 30th anniversary for the memorial, and there it is, the name in Japanese, along with all the information, to go along with some very cool and again, sparkly box art. Now, if you've been around for a while on my site, you've seen that I've reviewed this Gundam a long time ago, and I had to go back and check how long it's been, and it's been 700 videos since I reviewed this old Master Grade. Back in the day, I still did 4 parts. So anyway, I thought I'd look at this again because now I have HD and a little bit less hissing sound on this camera. So anyway, it's time to take a look at this, and we'll just see the differences between the new and the old one to go along with just that incredible inner frame that sort of has revolutionized the way Master Grades have been made over the last half-decade or so. J.J. Abrams must have designed this box here because you can just see sparkling all over the place. This isn't touched up, it should be like this right out of the box. And you can see that the red is going to sparkle, especially if you take a look at the Shinanju and the other ones that they've done in red. You can just imagine the yellow looks a little bit understated, and I wonder if that gray is going to be special at all. Over here you can see on the back that the gray doesn't look too special. The core fighter is even going to sparkle, and you can still pull off. These poses were absolutely revolutionary when the 2.0 first came out, that you could recreate all of the famous scenes from the anime, whether you're jumping off a dome's head or shooting up at a very tiny head of a Zeongu. And you can take this core fighter mechanism. Still disappointing that we haven't got a gun cannon 2.0 to go along with this system that they've implemented for the gun tank and the Gundam. But you can see here that it's going to transform. You can detach the body, plug it in, have a little ammo in the front to go along with all those weapons, and you can paint them up and have Frau Bo tell him, "We gotta get out of here, Amuro," as he shoves a sandwich into his mouth. To the other side, where again it's just going to be sparkling, and yes, that inner frame was just incredible at the time. It can rotate around there as well, and it can also go front and back. It looks like even that part there on the waist section should be done in shiny gold. You can see that the shoulders are going to pop out and rotate all over the place, which is great. The head is going to move up on multiple points there. The cockpit opens, whether it's in the core fighter or in the actual Gundam itself. The feet having all those points, 3 different points of bending there, are just going to allow him to get into any position and then look great once he's there. Inside the box, you're going to be getting the manual, which is probably identical to the old school one, shiny blue. Then you're going to have some shiny white, some red and gold here. It's a little bit gold as opposed to yellow, I'd say. Gray with seals and the regular stuff there. Then you're going to have white, and gray on the inside to go along with even more gray. It does come with extra weapons there. Extra decals there if you want to put those on. I don't know if it'll work with the titanium to go along with the beam sabers. Char and Flit have things under control here as they see the beam sabers, the gray parts, seals, decals, polycaps, hammer, white, blue, red, and 2 small plates of gold to go along with that clear parts. The A-plate was obviously chopped up so that Bandai could do their separate spraying there, and this red is going to look fantastic. Anybody who's built the Shinanju, I'd love to hear what you think of this titanium version, but you can see here from the shield that it's going to look great. The core fighter parts, the parts for the feet, and even as far as the goatee, everything is looking just incredible. Compared to the yellow, though, that we're used to for Gundams, this one comes across as being very understated there. You can see that you're going to have the parts for the waist section and for the neck, and you're also going to have all those parts for the vents and for the beam rifle. I don't know if this kit is going to get lined at all, but it's still great to see these number of details there for the waist section and for the shield. Sparkly blue there as well for the chest section and for the other parts that you're going to need. The white is very interesting though, and if you just take a look here, you can see how that gets sprayed on, and you still got a little bit of silver underneath there. There it is, Bandai 2008 for the D-plate. You can see here on the bigger parts too, how you're just going to have those little bits of silver there, which I don't really think then you have to go do your lining. For things like this with the lance, all you have to do is just leave it as is, and I think it's going to look great. You can see for the details here with the face that you've still got the vents built into it, and you actually have holes there on the side of the head, which again was revolutionary and allowed you to see the gray underneath with no difficulties. The E plate and F plate are going to wrap up the white there, and again, they're all just sparkling, and you can see some great details, including on the front part of the skirts. Too bad that that's going to get covered up in yellow and gold. This could just be me wanting to think this way, but I think that the gray actually has just a little bit more of a gunmetal feel to it than the regular old school one. So you can just see that it's going to be a little bit more sparkly, and it's going to do a nice offset compared to the rest of the colors that we get here. Here's the H plate, and you can just see some of the small details that are going to go and allow this guy to move in any direction you can imagine. The perfect grade comes down in scale, down to 1/100th there, as you can see that we've got 4 fingers there to go along with the hands, although the knuckles for 3 fingers are going to be attached together, so a 3-knuckle trigger finger split, I suppose, to go along with some cool parts there that are going to go inside the backpack, and how cool are those for the shoulders of the inner frame. Little pistons there on the J plate to go along with the hips, and you can see that if you wanted to go and paint up this inner frame, as has been done by a lot of people, if you buy the one with the clear versions on the outside or the smoked versions, you can really make the inner frame look great for this, and these small detailed parts are what makes that possible. And here's the K plate, giving you all the parts that you're going to need for the beam rifle and for the bazooka. It's just great again that they're going to be offering that in more than one color. I'm talking to have gray on the back and white down the middle, which is something that the old school kits never could have dreamt of. The C plate is going to give you a lot of clear parts there, and that's the stand for the core fighter, which is great because you can actually display it without the core fighter in the chest, have it off and looking separate there to go along with the cockpit. You've got different parts there for the camera lenses and for the eyes to go along with the parts that you're going to need for that pink weapon if you want to paint them up. It's hammer time here with HM1 plate, and you can take this part. I think this is different from the Turn A's. You're also going to have a little bit of polycaps here in the form of PC202 to go along with Saber 1s. Simple seals here with the trademark gold eyes, and you've got the red camera lenses there to go along with marking seals, and you can put those on in black, and they have some white and yellow on there to go along with the red. Dry decals, EFSF, I wonder how these would work with the titanium underneath. Still cool that they do throw it in. And be careful that you don't lose these chains for the Gundam hammer. They're going to be in the same bags as the seals. I remember this being a great manual too, and they are going to have this insert here because they have revised prices. So this is the same manual, but if you want to order because you're missing any parts, you can imagine that you're going to have to be paying a lot more, including Hammer 1 parts, 520 yen just for that plate by itself. Once you go inside, some great looking old school cover art there, and they're going to talk about the RX plan, how that was designed to counter the Zaku. Look at those frames, or the poses and the inner frame. And when you go inside, you'll see all the plates that you just saw to go along with the table of contents. Build the core fighter, the waist, and once you've got the arms and the head put together, you can go and check out the MS tracks in UC 0079. Gundam fighting all sorts of bad guys in increasing strength. Put in some $2 lining marker to make it look great. I don't think I will. And this was one of my favorite parts to show the old school. We've got the old Master Grade, then the version 1.5, version Katoki, the Perfect Gundam, which is probably one of my favorites, and the 1 Year War, the anime color one, I'm a big fan of. Here you can see the inner frame and the core block as opposed to the Brock. And after you put it all together, with including the legs, you can build up the weapons. A fair selection here to go along with the Hyper Bazooka, again in gray and white. Get that trademark shield together along with the Gundam hammer, and yes, who doesn't love napalm in the morning, I suppose. Here you've got all sorts of seals. It's not done in color, which is somewhat disappointing, and on the back, a great iconic pose of the most iconic of all Gundams. So that's going to wrap up my unboxing, and it's fun to go back for me just because I built this kit a long time ago and just to remember how amazing it was at the time. From little throw-ins like the fact you've got all of these different weapons, including the Javelin, beam sabers, clear parts to hold up the core fighter when it's not inside the chest, which it doesn't have to be. And in the case of the titanium version, these gray parts are all looking good, and I'm almost afraid to stack up these other ones on top of each other because I don't want to scratch them, especially the blue and the red. They're looking fantastic. The gold is a little bit meh, but then again, we'll see how it works when it's all put together. So stay tuned, everybody, to see it all put together, and lots more reviews, new and old, from everything in between. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think with a comment down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Am I going to be getting a platinum version? I mean, I'm going to be fighting for 100 years or so it seems.